Yo, greetings everyone, welcome. I'm Unclear, and today we're going through another developer insight before Season 22 launches in a couple of weeks. I'm just about to head to work, so I'll do this nice and quick, but I'm open discussion in the comments down below. So yeah, if you like this sort of content, be sure to stick around, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff, check out my other Destiny content, and I'll bring you more throughout the weeks. Anyway, let's get into it. Exotic armor! In Season 22, we'll be rolling out the second wave of changes to exotic armor following the first wave of changes that went out at the start of Season 21. We settled on one primary goal for this balance pass: bolster underused exotics. We took a look at several exotics that weren't seeing a lot of usage in any game mode and targeted those with buffs this time around. In the process of doing so, we identified a few previously changed exotics that needed further tweaks across the board. Across the board, these changes are largely positive and should make the exotics more useful and more powerful. With that goal in mind, here are the changes we are making. Please note, unless otherwise specified, the following changes leave the rest of the exotic benefits intact. Okay. Easy done. Hunters. Got a few exotics here being changed. Knucklehead Radar. The functionality of the Foe Tracer exotic helmet has completely removed from the exotic and added to Knucklehead Radar on top of the system benefits. Okay. So Foe Tracer gets the tracking gone, and it gets headed to Knucklehead Radar. That's what it sounds like to me. Foe Tracer, we took some cues from popular monochromatic maestro artifact pick for this one. When you deal damage with one of your abilities, you gain a damage bonus weapons that have the damage type matching your subclass damage type. Okay, so if we use an arc weapon and our subclass, if you do a slide uppercut with a wave, your arc weapons will do more damage. Additionally, when you defeat an enemy you've damaged with one of your abilities, you will spawn one of the collectible objects associated with your subclass, such as Ionic Trace or Fire Sprites. Okay. That just sounds shit now. Lucky Raspberry. This exotic was a little too unreliable in its current form. We've taken a crack at streamlining its energy gains, while leaving some of its benefits intact. The exotic still expands the chaining capabilities of arc bolt grenades, but instead of basing the grenade energy gains on those chains, each time you damage an enemy with the lightning strikes from the jolted condition, as well as each time you pick up an Ionic Trace, you gain additional grenade energy. Also given this grenade intrinsic ability to stun overload champions, now you don't have to jolt them and then trigger the jolt lightning strikes just to stun them, making these grenades more reliable against overload champions. Okay, so Lucky Raspberry, I mean, that's a D1 exotic, and that was great in D1. You'd be able, in Trials, I remember if you threw the grenade at a chain to 3 people, you get another grenade, so you could throw it again and just wipe the whole team out. It was absolutely insane. Renewal Grass underdone the previous nerf to Dustfield grenades cooldowns using this exotic. Okay. Hunters, let me know if that's good or not. I don't use my hunter. Alright, Titans, let's see what you got coming. Oh jeez. Icefall Mantle, Doomfang Pauldrons, Path of the Burning Steps, and Eternal Warrior. Season 21 includes some changes to Eternal Warrior and the Path of the Burning Steps. We've added some escalating damage bonuses to arc and solar weapons respectively when you get kills with those damage types. We like that this game plays another way to get surge-like bonuses, but the Eternal Warrior seem to have the most reliable way to get up to tier 4 damage bonus. We made some further changes to these perks to make them a little more reliable, while also expanding the functionality to the other two classes. Alright, here's what they did. Icefall Mantle grants an escalating bonus to stasis weapon damage when getting rapid stasis kills. When you activate your class ability, you immediately get your highest tier bonus. Okay, so you pop a barricade and you get a tier 4 damage bonus. Okay. Doomfang Pauldrons grants an escalating bonus to void weapon damage when getting rapid void kills. When you get a void melee kill, you immediately gain the highest tier bonus. Ooh, those Matador rushes are going to be loving that. Path of the Burning Steps, getting a solar grenade kill now grants the highest tier of solar damage. That's the crappiest. Yeah. How often are you getting solar grenade kills in Crucible? Honestly, you're not. Unless someone is weak and you throw it at them. But I mean, that's a few and far between. And no one in Trials is standing in a grenade long enough for you to kill them. Eternal Warrior, since the exotic only grants its highest tier damage bonus automatically when your super ends, which is a rarer occurrence. The duration of the arc weapon damage bonus when your Fist of Havoc super ends has been extended to 30 seconds, up from 10 seconds. So you're telling me those Titans running the Icalis SMG they do a super. They get a 30-second damage bonus of tier 4. Oh my, I'm going to see some pretty crazy stuff in Momentum. ACDO feedback fence. This exotic got a complete mechanical rework and now ties into the armor charge system, increasing its versatility and making it more useful in scenarios where you might not be taking a lot of melee damage. With a new perk, which replaces the old, when melee hits give you an armor charge, you take reduced melee damage when you have that armor charge. Taking melee damage charge causes you to emit a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets, consuming your armor charge and dealing more damage based on the number of stacks consumed. Note, the damage dealt by the burst of arc energy should be comparable to its current damage for 0 to 3 stacks of armor charge. Okay, so it's... alright. It's cool, and that was so cool in Crystals. You punch them and jolt them, and you better finish them off quite quickly. Now you won't. You just won't. Colorful Heart. This exotic stands in the shadow of the more ubiquitous heart of Inmost Light. To remedy that, we've removed its base energy to solar abilities and replaced it with a perk that lets you build more into sunspots. We'll be thinking you'll see many more sunspots on the battlefield as a result. As for the perk that greatly increases your ability regen when your super is fully charged, we've left that as it is. Okay, so it looks like Colorful Heart got a buff, and Icefall Mantle got a buff, and everything else kind of just got changed. Alright, Warlocks, what we got here? Astrocyte Verse, edited. We've added 2 more pieces of functionality to this exotic. Enemies near you when you blink become volatile. Additionally, when you're using the Nova Warp Super, the Dark Blink ability no longer consumes super energy. That's pretty cool. Okay, we're going to see a lot more blinky Warlocks. Mag Stabilizers. We've often heard calls to restore the perk that lets you top off your super energy by sprinting. The legacy of that incentive still creates some pretty silly play patterns. Yeah, it does, because it was an exotic, and it was a unique item. It was fantastic. You could have changed it to the last 15% to 25%, but hey, you know what? We did what we did. We wanted to give players a way of getting more super energy, no matter how charged their super is. Now, picking up an Ionic Trace while wearing this exotic will grant Guardians additional super energy. Okay. That could be good if you spec into Ionic Traces and use a Cold Heart, but we'll see. Wings of Sacred Dawn, leaning into the Orbital Weapons platform fantasy. We wanted to help players have a new way of staying aloft longer, especially in target-rich PvE environments. Typically, reloading was the main cause for the float to end. It was, yeah, you'd have to reload and you go boom. This exotic now automatically reloads solo weapons, including weapons you are holding, from reserves each time you get a kill while aiming down sights. Try it out with Xenophage. Try it out. Try it out with 1k. Try it out with 1k. Winter's Guile. Due to the nature of Stasis Warlock's melee ability, this exotic was previously a disappointing choice for that subclass. Yes, it was. It wasn't even an option. It wasn't even in the stratosphere of options. You were just like, nah, I'll get that out of here. We've added a new perk to this one, specifically when you're playing for your Stasis subclass. Now combatants encased by your Penumbral Blast melee will automatically shatter after a short delay. As with any changes, going to be watching the data and feedback carefully, and we'll make changes accordingly. We'll be working on the next round of Exotic Armor for future seasons. Okay, so there's a lot there. Alright, so we've got... Oh, jeez, they've done a lot to a lot of things. Alright. Now, they've done some abilities. Okay, let's go over this really quickly. Reduce the uptime and potency of barricade abilities, particularly high in level of PvP activities. Yep, they're not that... they're oppressive in zone control. So trials. That's really about it. Apart from that, you just move away. If they're laning with it, you just go to a different lane. You just go, nah, I'm not having that. Reduce the potency of Striker Titan high enough. Yeah. Both the nutrient... God, Titans are getting correct to the one-size-fits-all nature of Suspend in the Comic Sandbox. Okay. Rebalance a Strand Fragment suite to bring more underperforming options to normalize the potency of overperformers. Okay, so Titans are just getting a slap with a flaccid penis right there. That's what they're getting. Starting off with Barricade, this ability is potent tool for closing off lanes. Yep. Bunkering under fire, creating safe spaces to get a revive, and gathering information from relative safety. In PvP, specifically, the previous balance of barricades can slow down the pace of play in a manner that doesn't have much way of... It does, if you're good. In high-end PvP, you will see people outplay the barricades. In low-end, people just run into them and die. So watch those high-end players take out the barricades. Like, you will see it. We've been experimenting for a while with opt-in ways to play around barricades, including anti-barrier rounds via the artifact rules like weapons, orange trace rifles, subclass buffs, tuning the damage, specific weapons to deal to barricades, and more. There's all meant to increase an attacker's ability to remove barricades from the equation. However, it is clear from the heat of the moment these kinds of out-of-combat decisions aren't really coming into play. Yes, because players aren't playing properly. They're just rushing in and trying to get a kill. High-end players don't do that. So don't take what silly players like myself do. Go to high-end players and see how they outplay barricades. So I'm making some basic changes across the different barricade abilities, primarily targeting the strength of towering barricade as me to. Towering barricade's base cooldown will be increasing significantly, and all barricade objects will receive a reduction to their maximum health pool. Wow. Slap in the face with a flash penis. That's what that is. Towering barricade. Base cooldown increased from 48 seconds to 70 seconds. Ooh. All barricades maximum health reduced from 600 to 500. Damage resistance and PvE bands increased to compensate. Okay. So PvE, they're really not going to change a lot. You will take ages to get it back though. So you'll probably see less of it in the raids. But I mean, it's still a viable option. It still gives you the option of locking something down and creating space for yourself. But it wasn't that oppressive. I've never gone, oh man, that dude's got a barricade, I can't fight him now. No, I grenade him. I use a special weapon to drop it down, or I just move out of the lane. Go, no, I'm not fighting him. You leave it at that. At the summon not extending tower barricade's cooldown changed to the Bastion variant, which is already at a base cooldown up time of 100 seconds. However, the maximum health reduction does apply, bringing its effective HP against players from 500 to 417. Players deal additional 20% damage to Bastion barricades. The change was introduced back in patch 4.0.004. Next up, Striker Titan. It probably won't surprise you to hear Striker Titan specifically overperforming yet. Their punch is just crazy. Well, we believe that a small portion is due to strong focus on arc and the system artifact. We also believe the base cares to be elements that are too strong. We've made recent changes to both these atoms, but neither their prevalence nor performance has meaningfully shifted. We're taking a swing at Thunder Crash and Knockout. Theoretically, Thunder Crash is the one of super practice. Its kill potential is close to that of a roaming super, so update its base cooldown to reflect that. As damaged out and received its primary factor super regeneration rates, particularly in PvE, we believe that this change will be felt most strongly in low player count PvP, like trials and competitive, without being disruptive for our PvE strikers. Thunder Crash, base cooldown time from 500 to 56. Majority, okay. Just matching majority roamers. It is though, because it's not like another one where you throw it and it's done. You get to fly around for a bit, you get to get some kills in the air, and then you get to land. So yeah, I mean, I'm not too fussed with the Thunder Crash. The barricade nerfs will be worse. Knockout, reduce damage from first place from 50 to 30. Okay. Alright, so Knockout's getting a damage nerf. Man, Titans, bro, you guys are getting the mushroom stamp. Last up is Strand. With monitoring Strand's performance since Lightfall's release, we'll have it shaken up the sandbox across modes. A few outliers that need to be addressed. First up, Suspend. Okay. I'm not going to read that. Suspend is currently a skeleton key that solves combat problems against all combatant types. It does. So you just basically throw it down and everyone just goes in the air and you shoot them. It's honest. You shouldn't be able to suspend champions. Like, you don't see an unstopped ogre just in the air going, oh no, I can't do anything. And then you shoot him and that's it. That's the end of that fight. Like, it's the stupidest way to get through a fight. I mean, it's awesome when you're doing it, but in terms of like the gameplay loop, it's not great. This current direction heavily steps on the toes of Stasis Freeze, which we want to keep the highest potency disabled in the sandbox. Which makes sense, because I mean the uptime suspend atoms doesn't allow for meaningful player decision making when choosing when and where to place a hard disable. Yeah, you just throw it down every 5 seconds and everything's just in the air. And you just slowly shoot them all. To address these problems, we're making a suite of changes across both Suspend and its supporting atoms to better carve out a healthier role for Suspend in the sandbox. The base duration of Suspend is being reduced significantly, with further reduced against champion combatants to ensure they remain a core focus in combat. A problem for the fire team survivability needs to be addressed with urgency. We're also reducing the energy regeneration granted by Thread of Mind and Thread of Generation. We don't believe the ability of some of these fragments granted to Suspend atoms is healthy for the sandbox. Okay. Suspend. Reduce the base Suspend duration versus non-champion PvE combatants from 8 to 5. Thread of Continuity now extends the duration from 7 seconds down from 12. Reduce the base Suspend duration versus champion combatants from 8 to 3. 4 seconds with Thread of Continuity. Increases snap damage dealt to Suspend bosses by 67%. So that's a hit. 8 seconds. That is insane. That gives you enough time to suspend it and get out, which is a way better loop of gameplay. But I want to know what you think down below. Comment your thoughts on the Suspend changes. Alright, Threads of Mind. Reduce class energy gain based on the tier. I don't use Strain enough. I don't have Strain unlocked on my Hunter or Titan, so I just don't play them. So let me know if these changes really affect you. Minor combatants reduced from 15 to 10. Major combatants reduced from 25 to 15. Boss champions reduced from 50 to 25. Wow. Thread of Generation reduced overall energy gain per damage event against PvE enemies by about 20%. Rebalance the energy gain multiplier across primary weapon archetypes. We wanted to bring the energy gains from dealing damage with precision weapons and fully weapons closer together. Overall, reduce the effectivity of fully automatic primary weapons and increase the efficiency of precision primary weapons to compensate. In addition to Suspend, we want to shift some of that potency to other strand atoms to allow more diverse options for strand users, in particular with increasing the power of thread links and sever in PvE, and increasing the availability of tangles across all modes. So it sounds like Titans and Hunters are getting a bit of a nerf, and Warlocks are getting a bit of a buff. That's what it sounds like. So how often do you see Warlocks suspending anything? You don't. They're throwing threadlings and creating threadlings and going millions, and then just increase threadling damage versus PvE combatants by 30%. Reduce the tangle creation cooldown from 15 to 12. Sever PvE combatants affected by Sever now have their outgoing damage reduced by 40% versus 30%. We're also taking some opportunity to address feedback on a handful of strand aspects. The Threadrunner Still Strike Super is a bit unforgiving in the live game, particularly PvP, so made some changes. Still Strike damage resistance increased from 40 to 45. Reduced suppression time between super air attacks. Reduces vertical uplift provided by Silk Heavy Air to reduce instances of missing the primary target. Okay, that's a nice change. That's because I mean, Silk Strike, you just shotgun them in the head and then carry on. I was just chaperoning them in the face and they were done. They couldn't stand up to the shot. While the Threadrunner's threaded aspect is performing well in PvP, it felt like it needed a little TLC in PvE. It should now be much more effective in PvE as it will hold enemies' attention longer. And the casting Hunter is now effectively invisible to enemies for a couple of seconds after creating the clone. Threaded Splicer increased lifetime from 10 to 12. Increased health versus PvE combatants. Threaded Spectre now takes longer to detect nearby PvE combatants, but at the beginning of the time, PvE combatants now more consistently focus on the Threaded Spectre instead of the Hunter. Allied players no longer have a reticle magnetism towards it. Oh wow! So your aim assist was pulling you towards the Threaded Spectre. That's pretty funny. Okay, the Broadweaver's one aspect is a strong when thrown, but somewhat hard to use in more difficult situations, making it dangerous to leave the safety cover to grab a tangle. While this aspect is equipped to destroying a tangle, we women now weave the Wanderer, which surges upwards and detonates, spinning any nearby enemies. We'll also increase the Wanderer's detonation range and damage. The Wanderer destroying a tangle now creates a delayed suspending detonation. Increase suspend detonation radius from 6 to 7 meters against PvE combatants. Increase throw and Wanderer tangle detonation to match standard tangle detonations. For Pegasus feedback, the strength graph melee isn't working as players intended, particularly Hunters and Warlocks with ranged melee abilities. Now, pressing your melee input consistently activates the grapple melee line instead of activating the charge melee. Grapple melees always take priority while active, regardless of whether or not a target is within range. Thank you. As mentioned above, also showed things the power of Suspend and other straight items, we took opportunity to make some strand fragments that correspond to threadlings and 7 more attractive picks. We also made a small change to increase the ease of use of Thread of Wisdom. Thread of Propagation now 10 plus strength, Thread of Continuity 10 plus strength, Thread of Wisdom no longer requires a kill to activate. Thread of Isolation reduces the number of precision hits required to activate by an average of 30%. Thread of Rebirth create a number of threadlings that increase based on the tier of the defeated target. Minor combatants 1, elite players 2, boss champions, or mini combatants 3. All this coming in Season 22 and some more changes too. Tune in on launch day for a full list of changes, bug fixes, including fixes for Celestial Fire, Scorch, and depending on perks like Sunbraces. While Season 22 is getting locked in, we're working on a suite of Season 23 changes as well. We'll have more to share about Season 23 at a later date, but in the meantime, we'll be keeping an eye out for your feedback on all these Season 22 changes. That, my friends, is your dev insight for Season 22. I want to know what you think down below. That was interesting to say the least. And there's a lot of things that are being nerfed and a lot of things that are being changed. So let me know what you think down below. I'll say thank you guys so much for being here and so much for watching. Until next time, take care.